Alright, hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today it is raining and it feels almost like snow, but I'm not gonna let that stop me from doing these bicycle vlogs. Yeah, I'm supposed to wait here, but I'm not gonna wait. I'm sorry. So yeah, that's really it's a really common thing to stop at a red light, so don't tell on me, but there's no jaywalking in Japan. I'm just running my errands today right now because it's Sunday, and I gotta pick up some groceries and all that, and I also do have to run, so I wanted to run before it gets dark, but it's raining and it's getting dark fast. I mean, it feels like snow. Anyways, today I want to talk real quick about, is it easy to live in Japan as a foreigner? And you know, it's one of those questions. It's yes. The answer is yes and no. Starting off, oh, look at this cool bike, 400R. Let's just get off to it. Oh my gosh, it's so cold. I don't know if I can even do this. So, oh. If you know Japanese and if you assimilate to the culture, I think it's I can't say it's easy, but it would be easier if you didn't know the language. Oh my gosh, it's really pouring. Not pouring, but it's really coming down. All right, sorry guys. Trying to, maybe I need to just, maybe I shouldn't go in the direction of the wind, but yeah, so even if, I think if you assimilate with the culture, I think it is easier. But if you have no experience at all speaking the language, it's I think it's very difficult. Most people that come to Japan, or a lot of people that come to Japan, are prepared, and they also like, they learn at least the basics before even getting here. Most foreigners that I know that live here can speak Japanese pretty well. I don't think I know a lot of people that don't speak Japanese. Me, I don't speak pretty much any Japanese, and I'm learning now. I practice every day, and it's pretty fun learning Japanese actually. It's one of those languages that is fun to learn, because a lot of the writing is kind of just like drawing. But I used to live in China as well, so if I were to compare my life when I lived in China and Japan, if I didn't have my girlfriend, I think I would have a really hard time, because they make it really hard for foreigners in Japan. And in China, actually, a lot of people speak English, and even if you didn't speak Chinese, you can probably get by with just basic, very, very, very basic Chinese. Just like things like, oh, I want this, or I want that. Can I have one of these? It's fairly easy to live in China, actually, for a long time without knowing any Chinese. I knew a lot of actually older Americans that lived there, and they didn't speak any Chinese, and some of them had Chinese wives. I think they spoke a little bit of Chinese, but I met an older gentleman, had kids too. He didn't really speak a lot of Chinese. And as far as like making friends go, Chinese people, a lot of, like, if you live in a big city, a lot of the young Chinese people speak really good English, and they always want to make friends. And that's another thing. Like, if you live in Japan, it's hard to meet people, and it's really hard to get really close with anybody. A lot of people are to themselves, a lot of people are very introverted, and people are just busy, and a lot of people don't speak English, so it's harder to meet people and make like really long-lasting friends. As compared to China, a lot of the young people, they really want to meet people, especially foreigners. And there's like a saying, I remember one of the Chinese people telling me, when I used to teach adults, classes that there's a Chinese saying, it goes like, the more people you know, the more opportunities you have. And in a sense, I mean, I feel that that's pretty true. The more friends you have, you're gonna allow more opportunities for yourself. So as far as that goes, you definitely need to know a lot of Japanese, and you almost have to become Japanese to live in Japan comfortably. And I think a lot of people that live here for a long time either get married to a Japanese person, either boy or girl, and they've almost, because they've lived here so long, they already know the culture, and they pretty much like become Japanese. And I see that people that a lot of people like leave here, and I mean, if you live in Asia, you'll see people come and go all the time. When I lived in China too, people are always coming and going. But I don't know which way to go. But yeah, I think it's just, yeah, if you don't bother to learn the language completely, I don't think it's possible to live here for a long time. And if you're like married to a Japanese person, it's easier for them to help you. And like Japan is not really like an international, like a lot of the cities aren't really like international. Like when I lived in Shanghai, or even like major cities in China, every like major city is pretty international. Like Beijing, there's a lot of, there's a big international community out there. If you live in Shanghai, there's a lot of expats out there, and it's kind of known that there's like a mixture of people. But in Japan, there's not many like in Osaka or Tokyo. I mean, there's not like a big international community. I mean, there are people that are from different countries, but I wouldn't say it's as integrated as China. So yeah, so yeah, as far as like just like getting an apartment, it's so hard for foreigners to get apartments. And like in Japan, if you get an apartment, you have to pay extra money. Like if I wanted to get an apartment, for like the apartment that I have, I had to pay extra money, like pretty much a month of well, you have to pay a deposit, and then you have to pay a month worth of look at that tandem bicycle. They're on a tandem bicycle. And yeah, so like I had to pay like a month deposit, and then like you pay another like month for free. You just have to like give it to them. Sometimes it's like they're like gift money, and you just have to pay like pretty much like 3 to 4 months of rent money just to get an apartment. And on top of that, they don't really like to let foreigners rent their apartment, as I've said in other videos. So getting a nice apartment is very difficult to get as a foreigner. They don't like foreigners to get the apartments, rent their apartments. Getting a phone, I remember when I first came here, it was so difficult for me to get a phone. I had to get like one of those, it's almost like a prepaid SIM card where you get at the electronics store, and then I paid like $30 a month for that, and they just wouldn't let me get a phone service. And then finally my girlfriend's friend, who is Chinese, works at he's a student, and he also works at like a big major phone service provider place. He just signed me up. And a lot of times if they don't speak English, this is that one thing that really bothers me. Like when I go somewhere and I ask them if they speak English and they don't, they try to like shoo me away with like excuses, because they don't want to deal with it, and they probably don't get paid enough to deal with all that crap. So like yesterday I went to Kyoto and my phone wasn't working well, And then I asked them if they spoke English. And then I just wanted to know if I paid my bills, because my phone service, my internet was going a little slow. And the guy said I needed my passport and my ID, and I'm like, no you don't, because I've been to this you know, I've been to at a different location, and they didn't ask me for a passport. That doesn't even make sense. Why would I need a passport when I have an ID? And he just kept saying that, and I'm like, no you don't. And if I just said yes, I would have just left. But I kept telling him that you don't need to. And then he told this other guy, and the other guy was like, yeah, you don't need to. And then he's like, oh, I'm sorry. But I'm pretty sure he just said that to get rid of me. And this happens to me a lot, where they try to get me like away and just say all these lies, or they just like, oh, we can't do this, we can't do that. And it gets a little bit annoying. But yeah, that plus like a lot of paperwork, and like you gotta do like for where you live, there's always like maybe like a, I don't know how would you call this, but like maybe like a town hall, and you have to do all your paperwork there. And if you don't speak any Japanese, forget about it, because nobody at that town hall speaks English. And it's like, it's almost impossible. All the paperwork is in Japanese, so it's very difficult for you to do any of that. So pretty much, if you don't speak any word of Japanese, it's really difficult for you to live here. I'm just lucky that my girlfriend speaks Japanese. And when I was in China, like the company that I work for, they did everything for me. Like they do all the visa stuff. They have someone, I mean, they just have so many people working at the company. They just like, they'll have one specific person to take you everywhere. And if you need any kind of help, they will help you. I remember like, cause like they really, I wouldn't say value, I don't know if value is the word, but they understand that we're in a different country, and they understand that, you know, it's not easy for us. So they always get someone to like help you to do all the things. Even like wait in line for like a long time. But here, nothing. Like even my visa, I had to go by myself. I asked like, you can't get a credit card. Like for the longest time right now, I've been trying to get not a credit card, but a bank card. Well, credit cards too. They want, oh, Seattle's best coffee. That's interesting. This is a women's university. But yeah, it's been really hard for me to get a bank card, and every time I go to like a bank, they won't give it to me. So yeah, I gotta find the bank. I know that there is a bank that does, but yeah, they won't allow it. And when I lived in China, I could go to any bank and get a bank card very easily. I had like two or three different bank cards, no problem. But here, can't do it. And even if I came with a Japanese speaker, I don't know if that would work, if that would help me. But I even asked my company, like, could they help me, and my company said they wouldn't. So if I lived in China, I'm sure if I asked the company, they would probably help me do that. And my girlfriend was also saying, like, even like getting like food service. When we lived in China, like there was a foreign app that was really popular. It was called Sherpas, and I can get any type of food anywhere I wanted in the city of Shanghai. And it would be at my doorstep, like within 10-15 minutes. But here, any kind of app or anything like that is just only for Japanese people. So Japan is not really foreign friendly when it comes to living here. They're very foreign friendly. Maybe they're foreign friendly if you're a visitor. So yeah, I mean, short answer, no, it's not easy being a being a foreigner in Japan. And I know if you see my videos, you know, it looks like I'm having a lot of fun, and I do have a lot of fun. I love Japan. Japan is nice. Japan is good to me. And but the things that you don't see is all the things that like make it really difficult for me to live here. But for me, I kind of brush it off because I kind of understand. I've been living away for like 10 years from my country, so I know all the you know, if you're gonna live from where you're not comfortable with, or what you don't know, you're gonna run into a lot of hardships, I would say. A lot of I don't know, a lot of problems. So I mean, I kind of already, you know, it comes with the territory. Is the skyline? I take a picture of this. Oh, there's a guy somewhere. It's cool. Yeah, so yeah, it comes with the territory. But I think for as far as other people might not have as much patience as I do. And that's why I see a lot of people at times leaving Japan. So it's not like, I mean, a lot of people like sign up and they just kind of come here and they teach, and it gets good for the first 2 years. And if you come on a program where they help you get the apartments, like a lot of places, like the JET program. JET program is like where they get people to come and teach under a contract, and then they do everything for them, get the apartments, and usually the teachers, they can't really choose where they go to. But you know, when you get it like that, it's much easier to assimilate with the culture. And a lot of times, like, they provide everything: the apartment, the housing, sometimes even like a car where you can share the cars with other teachers. And then also too, sometimes they'll help you learn the language like during class time. So yeah, I think I haven't personally experienced the JET program, but from what I've heard, it seems like the JET program is very good for people who want to begin, you know, from someone who's living somewhere else and want to come here for the first time. So I think they do a pretty good job, and they also pay very well, more than the average. But for them, you only work for them for like, you know, you maybe like a set time, like 3 or 4 years, and then you can't work for them anymore. You have to, like, they won't rehire you again. So then you have to find a different job. But I think by that time you should be able to know some Japanese and should be assimilated. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, I think I see a lot of people that live here for a really long time. And I think it's because after you get through like the really tough hardships, it becomes rewarding. So is there anything else? Yeah, I think people tend to think, it's very easy to up and move from your place, your country, and then just to live in a different country like Japan. But sometimes it's not as hard, it's not as easy as it sounds. Another thing is, working in Japan is not easy as well, because in Japan the work culture is, would I say is it toxic? Yeah, they really try to work you to the bone, and they don't pay you enough, and they expect everyone to work like this. Like, they kind of expect that you don't have a life, and your life is your work. And I think that's why a lot of people feel pressured by their jobs and, you know, are miserable. My girlfriend works at a company, and she says that a lot of people at her work will just stay like past the time. Like, it's maybe they stop work at 8 o'clock, and there will still be people there. Like, they want to stay there. So it's kind of like, that's the culture. Everyone is like kind of used to that. And even as an English teacher, and I mean, that's kind of like the easiest thing to do. Like, if you want to live in Japan and you're not like crazy rich, The only thing that you can do is either you work as an English teacher or work in the field that you're good at. But if you're an English teacher, most schools, they pretty much suck. I've been teaching for maybe 10 years now, and I kind of know, I don't want to say I know the ins and outs, but I know a pretty good chunk of the teaching English industry. And what I've seen from in Japan is just like they don't pay enough for what they want you to do. They want you to do all this work, but they're not going to pay you enough. And nowadays they have people from like the Philippines. A lot of Filipinos speak really good English, and they're willing to pay them the lower amount, and they're happy with it, because I think in the Philippines the cost of living is a little bit lower than maybe like the West. And so what a person from the West thinks it's low, it's probably good for them. And so nowadays they're just a lot of these English schools, they're choosing to hire Filipinos. And so there is a lot of competition to be an English teacher, but yet they're not paying the competitive salaries anymore. So they want these teachers to do so many things, but they won't pay them. And it's not really good for us. So being a teacher these days in Japan, I don't know, I've been looking for jobs now, because currently my company, they don't want to extend my contract because I don't want to do all the extra work that they're asking me to do, and they're not really paying that much. And so I've been looking around for jobs, and they all kind of look the same. They don't pay that much. They're asking you to do so many things, and I'm hoping to find something that I really like, because I mean there are schools out there that are fair, but there's more of them are just not. More of them are, it's not looking good. But okay, so that's your other option. Then the other option is like if you worked in an office. But if you think about it, if you work in an office, it's probably even worse, because you got to work in that Japanese culture, and we got to work those long hours. And I mean, I'm not sure what the pay is, but unless your job is like a high-paying job, I don't think it's worth what you have to do. So I hope I don't sound like I'm just complaining, but I just want to give the reality of what it's really like. And it's not really easy to live in Japan, but I think it does get easier. If you're learning Japanese, you can be, if you're fluent in Japanese, maybe you get married to a Japanese person, or maybe, I don't know, I think that really helps a lot. But if you pretty much become Japanese, if you accept the culture and become part of the culture, it just gets easier and easier. And then by the time you're here for like 10 years, it just you kind of just get used to it. But I think out of all the countries in Asia, I would say Japan would be the most tough for a foreigner to get assimilated with, because I feel like in most countries you can get away with just speaking English. Any of the Southeast Asian countries, you can probably get away with. Even in Korea, a lot of people speak English, but I mean, I don't know firsthand, but I would assume that Korea would be not as difficult as Japan. But again, Japan has been good. I love living in Japan. There are things that bother me, but I mean, no country is perfect. If I were to compare the US, Japan, and China, I just feel like for me it's a perfect place to live, because I feel America has has rules, but they're not really meant to be followed. Like when you're like an elementary school kid, like people are like, always question the authority, always, fight back and, fight for these freedoms, and always like, break the rules. It's like, that's kind of like the American credo, like break the rules. Yeah. In China, there are rules, but nobody follows them because there's so many people. So in actuality, I feel like there was more freedom in China than in America. I felt more free in China than in America. And then in Japan, it's like, here's the rules, you must follow them. And to me, I feel like that's the best for me, because when I'm in America, I feel like it's easier for me to break the rules because everybody's just doing it. And then when I lived in China, it's like nobody really cares because there's so many people. So nobody, oh, that's a dead end. So nobody's really following the rules. But in Japan, they really make you follow the rules. And I think maybe I need that. I think I need to follow the rules. But sometimes it can get really annoying because there's no like, you can't like go around things. You know what I mean? Like in America, like if people understand your situation, they'll be like, oh, okay, yeah, you can cut this line, or you can do this, you can do it a different way. We have different options for you. In China, it's like, yeah, just give me some money and you can cut the line. No, I feel like in China, like people are just like, people just don't care, I guess. There's just like so many people, there's so many like things, so it's just like, okay, you can just do that. But in Japan, there's no cutting corners. You have to follow this line and that line. You gotta go here, then you gotta go there, then you gotta go around here and all over there. And that's just how it is here. And sometimes it gets annoying, but I think sometimes it's actually good for me. I'm not sure. But yeah, I think that's it. Is it easy to live in Japan? Once you get all the things done with, it becomes easy. My life has gotten easier since I've moved here. You do get comfortable, but yeah, like I said before, it's not easy making friends here. You're not gonna find a lot of good lifelong friends here. You might get a few, but like I just feel people aren't open to meeting people. And I mean, it's good if you have like a family, I guess, and you just kind of stick with your family. Anyways, that's it. I'm probably sure I have more things to say, but I'm beginning to, I just forget when I turn on the camera. I just want to thank all the subscribers that watch these videos. I think the people that watch like these bicycle vlogs are the ones that are not just like coming and going, but the people that are actually like interested in what I want to talk about and interested in the conversation. So I want to thank you guys for joining me in these bicycle vlogs. I'm just trying to think of more and more interesting things to talk about. My life in Japan. I always think about these all the time because I do live here, and I thought this would be an interesting topic to talk about, because recently, I just been feeling like, man, it's sometimes really tough to live here as a foreigner. And I'm just thankful that I have like my girlfriend to help me, and I am learning Japanese, but it's it's a really slow process. And also it's not, I'm one of those people that don't learn languages well. So I just want to thank you guys for watching these videos, and I hope to see you guys on the next one, I guess. All right, see you later. Goodbye.